Hello, friends. Happy Monday. Happy start of the week. It's another week. It's a new week. Hi, Paw Pal Gal. How's it going, friend? Needle Girl. How's it going? How are your weekends? Morning Indie Dragonfly. How's it going? Well, it's another week. It's a new week. And it's June. I don't know what else to say. Hopefully, wherever you are, morning, afternoon, evening, hopefully the weather is treating you okay. And hopefully you had a relaxing weekend or a fun weekend. And you're off to another week. You have 2 new inks coming. That is exciting, Indy. We're excited for you. If you want to share what inks, feel free. Yeah, let me know if you have any new acquisitions coming your way, or if you have been enjoying something stationery wise or otherwise. Both shimmers. Ooh. Crazy Train and Back in Black. What brand is that? I'm trying to think. My latest acquisition was the Kaweco Glow in the Dark. I don't have anything coming my way. But we'll see. It's June. It's June. The Coffee Monsters Co. June pre-order. She does this annually every June. I think it's still going on, right? You have a few more days. But yeah, I ordered a few things over the weekend. Really excited. Really excited to support Helen too. She always has a whole slew of washi tapes to choose from, and pouches, stickers, all those kinds of things. And they're all pre-order. So yes, you have to wait 2 to 3 months to get them, but they're unlimited. So it's not like you're trying to get something before it's sold out. It does not sell out within the time frame that you have to order. But I'm excited for that. So that is something to look forward to later. Pen Chalet. Oh, they had a sale this weekend. Ooh, interesting. You're trying hard to wait until SF to purchase any inks and pens, Papa Gal. Yeah, it's tough, right? It's tough. I feel like summertime is also, when there are lots of fun launches. And I don't know, I feel more in the mood of playing with stationery and getting new stationery too. Whereas fall and winter, I'm kind of planners, but everything else, it's easier to sort of stay away from things maybe. But in the spring and summer, I'm just yes, let's get more things. Let's play with stationery. They're both private reserve. Okay, awesome. Very cool. Well, I hope you enjoy. I hope they're, the inks that you're looking for and that they're super, super fun. Back in Black, I can guess what it is. Let's see, Crazy Train. That sounds really cool. Ooh, turquoise shimmer. Indy, you didn't say it was turquoise because that is right up my alley. Amazing. I'm just gonna, let's see. Here we go. Very cool. It's like a dark turquoise. Very cool. They're both sparkly. Yeah, that's awesome. They'll be fun. They will be fun. Oh, Pixie, your pug had a bad reaction to an antibiotic. Oh no. Yeah, pamper her. I'm glad she's feeling better. Definitely pamper your pets, and give them an extra hug. Yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of losing my senior cat, Bayless. So yesterday was a little tough, just kind of, thinking about memories and stuff like that, looking at photos and video, but yeah, life goes on, and it's kind of surprising how fast a year can go. Thank you, Needle Girl. Yeah, lots of stuff happens in a year, but also it's almost like time stands still in terms of, missing someone or something, or someone who's close to you. And yeah, just thinking back, it's like a whole year went by, right? So anyways, we keep moving on and make new memories, and remember everyone that's been in our life too, because they were there for a reason. So the hard question is what pens to put them in. That is always a tough question, Indy. And you know what? That's a problem that is like one of those problems that you want to have because it just makes it more fun to like think about it and brainstorm some ideas of where you could put it. Yeah, it really is surprising how fast a year can go. Yeah, I do. I'm a very nostalgic person, so I like to, and this, I mean, that probably goes for everyone who journals or, keeps some sort of record of their life. I, as much as it pains me sometimes to look through my 5-year diary, because, I was sort of going through the last couple of weeks of reading back last year's entries where I could see the health decline, and I know how that story ends, and it's not fun. But at the same time, I can also see how much we've grown since then in terms of, how things have sort of evolved in life. And yeah, it's kind of nice to also think back and think like, all the happy memories that have happened since that he missed out on, but also, you just have to keep moving forward, and there's always going to be moments where you smile and are happy and laugh and have joy and things like that. So just keep moving on. Not that you forget, of course. I don't think there's any way to forget a pet or someone who's been in your life for a long time, or even a short time, but has had an impact in some way. And I think that lives forever because, it has an impact. It has an imprint on your life in some way. And I think that's worth honoring. And even if it's a sad memory or, it's something that you wish you don't have to live through, right? And I've had lots of pets over the years, and it's never easy. It never gets easier. It's never easy to say goodbye and move on without them there beside you. So, but a couple of things that actually what I was going to say, one thing that does help, and I think about this when things are heavy, when we go through, stress or just worries in life. I think that is usually the best time to turn towards art and creativity. And as much as you don't feel like it, sometimes writing things down can help. But in most cases, speaking from experience, I find that if words fail you, or if it's too emotional to kind of write words down, I find that just playing with your stationery supplies, just playing with paints or inks, just drawing, doodling, sketching, it doesn't have to look good. It doesn't have to even be anything. Just putting pen to paper, pencil to paper is helpful. And I say that because it's a time to, sort of unplug from your mind, going over things or thinking too much about things, and just focusing on art and the flow of it, and letting your hands kind of just, guide you through emotions sometimes helps. And so that's why I do a lot of, abstract art too. Because it's a time where you don't have to overthink anything. You just have to kind of, take out your supplies and go with it and just play and, see what comes out of it. And I often find during that practice is when I feel the most calm, when I feel the most at peace. And I feel like, things are just as they are. And you kind of have to keep moving forward. And I think one way of doing that is just to, put something on paper and watch that become something. And I think that process is really helpful. So in line with that, we're going to do some painting today. I have some watercolor paints that I wanted to create some painted pieces on watercolor paper, as well as my watercolor sketchbook. So we're just going to have fun with paints today and do some floral art. So that's kind of my plan for today. So couple of things that I did want to share with you that in terms of content, I guess, is I published my latest Substack post. So I do have a Substack blog, if you're not aware. It is From Corolla on there, or Posts from Corolla or something like that. But let me just see. So this is like my latest post. It's just an update on May things. Currently inked. So my currently inked pens, which we went over in stream, and the painting I did with 4 of those inks that I had in my fountain pens. And then also the art mail postcard that I painted and mailed off to Winsor & Newton to be part of their online gallery. I thought that was kind of cool. And also a couple of YouTube videos that went out on my YouTube channel. So the Winsor & Newton thing is actually really cool because I got an email from them saying that my postcard was added to the online gallery. And so obviously I had to take a look. So here are, and so if you go to WindsorNewton.com, you can follow a link to the gallery. And then you can filter by, country the submissions are from, or color, theme, things like that, just to kind of take a look, because there's obviously going to be a lot of submissions. But I filtered by Canada because that's where I'm from. There were 44 submissions already, and it's very, very cool just to kind of look through all the art that people have submitted on postcards to Winsor & Newton. So there's, and obviously they'll kind of duplicate it just to make it look like a gallery wall, but there's mine. Yay. I entitled it Spring Flowers. So that I did on stream before I kind of chickened out of doing it altogether. But yeah, very cool, right? So I thought that's like, what a great idea. To kind of share everyone's art worldwide, wherever you kind of are, and if you want to partake. So if you do want to participate, just paint art on a postcard, whatever kind of paints or inks or something like that you want to use. All you have to do is get the free postcard pack from a participating retailer or an art shop or whatever near you. And then they have an entry postcard in that pack that's postage paid. So all you have to do is paint and throw it in the mail, and it gets to them. And then, you have to register your postcard before you mail it back to them. And if you do, then they'll email you when they've uploaded your postcard. And then there's a chance that, your postcard might be part of like real life exhibitions in London or New York. So I thought that's very cool. Yes. Love it, right? How fun. So fun. I thought it was very, very cool. And a great way of just like, getting your art out there. And I find that a lot of times, we put restrictions on ourselves in terms of like, oh, this isn't good enough for something, you know, this isn't good enough to share. And sometimes it's just a matter of like putting yourself out there, right? And doing it more often helps build that confidence that like it doesn't have to be good in your eyes to be art. So just, you know, go ahead and do it. And this is like one of those fun ways that, you know, it's no pressure. It's not like you're entering a competition or something like that. So no one's judging, no one's, you know, it's just to participate in an artist community. So very cool. Cabbage Patch 780, welcome. Enjoy your lurk. So that's cool. I'll keep an eye on the gallery because I'm kind of curious to see how many, you know, how many variety art pieces they get, if that makes sense. Just how many postcards, but also like just the, you know, contrast in like different art styles and what people like to paint. I think it's very inspiring. So, yeah, so that's that. That's kind of on my end. But let me know what you've been up to while I kind of get things started, and how you're enjoying spring so far. I did upload and schedule a YouTube video that's gonna go out this weekend. And it is an update on my planners and journals and how I use them in May. No big changes in my planner and journal lineup. Just kind of doing the same thing with little tweaks here and there. Some changes in terms of just, you know, aesthetics and the flow of how I'm using things. But I'm kind of happy with what I'm using so far. And the different types of books and systems and binders that I have. So I wanted to paint two bouquets. The word. I wanted to paint two different bouquets. I just found reference photos on Pinterest, and I've kind of just picked out bouquets that are colorful, so I can use different colors and paints and shades, and try and sort of mimic the composition of the bouquet, just for practice sake. And then the second bouquet is also very, very pretty. But I wanted to sort of practice doing both, and then seeing which one, you know, I like in terms of color and style. So, yeah, so I think what I'm going to do first, though, is warm up because, you know, it's been a weekend and I haven't really done a lot of painting in the last week or so. And yeah, kind of looking at a blank sheet sometimes is daunting. So what I like to do is just do abstract, warm up, you know, shapes, and focus more on just getting color down, feeling the flow of it, and having fun. So that's what I want to do first, is just kind of do an abstract version, you know, just looking at the shapes and stuff like that, colors, and working through that. So no, maybe I'll put it here. You can kind of see it. All right, so I think I am going to pick out some brushes. I want to get different sizes of brushes because I can kind of see that there's opportunities to play around with the shape and edges of petals. So that might be kind of fun to try out different types of brushes too. But we'll see. Okay, so I have a few brushes here. I'm just gonna try and get some of these colors in here. So I like the yellow. I like that the blue is sort of soft and more of an accent color. I like the punch of the orange in here, and then the bright pink. And the white, because I'm using white watercolor paper, I think I might do a softer something, maybe a soft purple or something like that. So I don't want to copy this photo. It's more for practice and to try and get colors and play around with shapes and stuff like that. So, you know, using different colors and sort of reorienting where the flowers kind of sit, I think would be kind of fun. So I was trying to get Micro from stepping on the keyboard. Well, if Micro has something to say, throw it in the chat, Micro. Let us know what you're up to. Any new stationery, you know, any new thread you've been playing with. So these paints are from Beam Paints. And I love the quality of them, and I also like how vibrant they are. So some of my go-to paints. So usually what I do is I paint the shape and the color first, and then I add detail after. So again, another way of just keeping it low pressure, not having to worry too much about what it's going to look like just yet. I think I'm just going to add some of the color here first and then go from there. So always, like, when you look at something like this, right, and it looks very complicated, I always like to break it down into a process and as simple as possible. Because otherwise you can get hung up on, you know, all the little details and all the different things that you have to kind of include. And I think that sort of just makes it challenging for a lot of people because you're looking at it as a whole versus like step by step breaking it down into something more manageable, right? And it doesn't have to look exactly like that for you to capture what you're seeing and what you like about what you're seeing. So something to keep in mind always is how can I break this down into something more manageable? And not make it harder than it has to be. So this is blue. Add a little purple in there. And soften it up a little bit, but I do still want to make sure it kind of stands out. I don't want it to be too soft against the yellow and the bright pink and orange. A little bit in here. Then we have some of these really pretty daisy type of flowers down here. And some over here too. Okay. orange. Put that in here. Actually, put it in here. He's definitely been playing with string and carpet. Yep. He'll eat anything. Interesting. Does he also like your washi tapes? Okay. Cabbage Patch, thanks for the follow. Okay, so I have some orange. I'm gonna add some of that, the magenta now. So let's play around with that. I think I like how dark this is. So let's add a little bit in here. And then we have and then a little bit over here. Then let's add some of these smaller daisies. Okay. And some, I think I'm going to add these lavender instead of the white. I think I might add a little bit of lavender instead. Or lilac? Maybe in here. Okay. And then I'll add green. And I have this little birch round. Really cute. So I think I'll add that as the stems and leaves. This one. Okay, and then some leaves in there somewhere. All right. Then the center of this flower here. All right. Not bad. I like these colors. Very pretty, very spring-like. I love the colors. Yeah, giving summer and pride vibes. Yes. Definitely. I love that. That's awesome. The colors are right on point, I think. Yes, washi and pens. Yeah. Oh, micro. Okay. Let's see if I can sort of do something similar on a watercolor paper, watercolor paper. I think I like these shapes. I'll try and use this one as well. But I have a little bit more space on this paper, so I can make the flowers a little bit bigger too. So let's do similar. Okay. Okay, now orange. I think I'll add a flower here. I'll do one here. Then let's do magenta. Actually, let's try this. Okay, let's see. Okay, we'll do some blue. Micro message. Yes, indeed. It's all about micro. Message received. And we love you too. Okay, some light pink. He keeps trying to get your paintbrushes when you move. No, you cannot have this. So funny. He's like, I can grab it. Don't worry. I got this. Let's do some light turquoise. I think I like that. This palette is really nice. I didn't even, well, I kind of, I love this round because all the colors work really, really well together. So I knew what I was getting into. I knew it was going to be a nice one, but I think it works really, really well with this kind of bouquet too. Okay. Just put a little bit here. Let's do that. Actually, okay. And then a little bit of yellow. I don't want to do it there just yet. It's still wet, but maybe I can add a little in here. emerald green. Leave that. Some of this is still a little wet, so I think I'm going to skip a little bit. Just going to go with what I can see is dry. Then pretty colors. Very pretty. Now I'm going to add just a little bit more color. To make it look a little bit more dynamic than just one color, one shade. Really are pretty colors, yeah. Hi, Vi Appletater. He's like, I'm used to swapping and stealing Mom's while she's writing and writing. So helpful. What would we do without Micro's help? Micro's like, no, 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 let me get this. You forgot something. You forgot those lines. I wonder, I think I want to add a little bit of, check this out. I want to add a little bit of purple in here just because. And then I'm gonna add a little red in here. Okay, so let's let this dry. And so you can see why sometimes warming up is helpful, because even though, you know, the first piece is totally fine, once I add details to it anyways, you know, it'll smoothen things out and make it a little bit more softer, and you can see the lines a little bit more clearly. But after sort of getting the first little bit out, getting color down, working with shapes and things like that, the second piece looks a lot more like what I want it to look like, if I were to choose. But again, you know, even with this piece, I could put details, I can add details on top that will sort of smoothen things out that I may not, you know, right now it's kind of blobby looking, or, you know, it just needs a little bit more definition. But here's the difference between, you know, just going for it and doing the thing, which is totally fine and should be part of your practice if you're, you know, practicing painting and things. But it's helpful. It's helpful when you're creating something that you want to look, you know, I want to gift this to someone. This is a card for my sister. So I want it to look like, you know, I spent time on it. And it just looks a little bit more confident. So all to say, you know, sometimes practicing and warming up before, you know, sitting down to actually do a piece is very helpful, and will can kind of give you the end result that you were striving for. I love them both. I do too. Yeah. Okay, so I also wanted to do this one, just because I kind of like the way that the flowers are arranged. Oh, there's a better view. I like how the flowers are arranged, and I love this flower that's kind of just, you know, peeking out the top or standing up, you know, and then you have this sort of bold, bright flower here at the bottom, and then you have, I think this is eucalyptus, you know, filler types of flowers as well. And I like the colors, though I may change around some of the colors a little bit. It is very sort of yellow orange with bright magenta, but I think I want to layer in a little bit of like turquoise, blue, purple, something like that. So we'll see. We'll see how it comes together. So maybe a little different than this one, possibly. And then this birch round, this mini birch round of paints, these two colors, sort of gold, bronzy gold, and dark green, they're actually shimmer paints. So as it starts to dry, you'll see there's some shimmer there. The green has shimmer. So adding it throughout too makes it look very interesting. So, all right, let's do this one. Bart, how's it going? My sister's zodiac sign is Gemini. And then my younger sister's sign is Pisces. She's a very mellow and quiet Pisces. Yeah. How's it going, friend? What have you been up to, Bart? What shows are you prepping for, or have you been part of most recently? And how's the pen making going? All right, I'm gonna add some of orange yellowish flowers here, and then magenta here, and then maybe purple and blue as accent colors. So let's do some yellow. And mine too. So she either has a birthday soon or just had one. Yeah. She had one. Well, actually, my younger sister had one a couple of months ago, but my older sister will have one soon. Which is why I'm making her a card. And she has a lot of wildflowers and also curated flowers in her garden. And so her kids and her love arranging flowers, and sort of, getting to know different types of flowers and how colors sort of work together in arrangements and stuff. So I'm spending a little bit more time on actually painting a bouquet. So let's do this really wild one. I don't even know what kind of flower that is. but it says red stripe. What looks like sort of the center of the petal and around the sides a little bit. Very interesting. Okay, so this yellow. Okay, then let's move on to pink. I don't like this pink. June 18th, yeah, close. You're working through commissions right now? Yeah, started to, oh yes, Yoseka, DC, and SF. Wow, 3 major ones. Okay. Let's do this big. Okay, and then do a brighter pink here. Okay. There's some pink. All right, let's see. Well, I can add a little bit of this dark, sort of bronzy color in here. And a little bit in here too. Okay, let's see. I want to add that red stripe, so let's do that. Okay. And then this, maybe more yellow. I don't know. I feel like this is a little blobby, but that's okay. We'll just draw over it. And then okay. So let's add this orangey flower here. And then I think I'll add a little bit of purple and blue throughout. Okay. Maybe I'll do this. Okay. And then some green. Still some wet paint, so I'm going to try and avoid mixing the green into other colors, but we'll see. Okay. Actually, eucalyptus is a little bit lighter. Maybe one here. There we go. Okay, and then green. I think that looks pretty good. Let's also just do stems coming out. Like that. Hello, little dragon teacher. How are you? You thought you'd take a break from writing letters, and you've come to an art stream. Amazing. Just work. You got to do the hustle nonstop. Yeah, Bart. It is what it is. It is what it is. A little more red here, I think. Okay. Now I'm really done. I'm going to let that dry. So that's the first, no, second. This is the first. This is the second. Very similar. And that's the third. I do like that this one, oops, this one is a little bit darker vibe maybe. No, not really, but brighter. I don't know. Just a little different. Okay. You're loving your Neapolitan Pisces from SF? That's awesome, VH2D. Yeah, Bart does good things. He makes good pens. Yeah, brighter, I don't know, more magenta-y, more pink vibes, something like that. That's okay. I think overall we're just going for spring, wildflowers, cottage, flowers, that kind of vibe. So let's just go with it. Okay, I'm gonna move my paint stuff over because I don't need it right now. Now, what I do want to use is, I was thinking I might use my Kakamori stainless steel nib in my Zodiac pens holder. Right, Bart? Along with pigment ink, but I don't know if I want to because I think it might make this too dark. Especially if the pigment sort of, takes over some of the color, and I do want to go for a softer vibe. Versus like something like this where it's darker, right? So yeah, I don't think I want it to make it too dark. So I think what I'm going to do is just go with a fine liner. Oh, by the way, my 7-year-old daughter, she is practicing crochet and she's learning it, right? She's left-handed, so some tutorials are a little bit tougher for her because she has to, make the opposite or take it, or practice it with opposite. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. But she made me this and she said it's a pen rest. So, or pen holder. And so I thought that's just like really, really cute. So anyways, that's on my desk. Let's see. I have 05 and 03. I have a lot more than that, but I think these two lines will probably work best with this, especially on watercolor paper. You don't want to use too fine of a line because it won't be as easy to see, but also because the paper is textured. So I think I want to use something a little bit broader. Maybe 03. Let's see. Let's try it. See how it goes. She's doing better than you are, little dragon teacher. so funny. She's doing better than I am because I haven't even tried it. I've tried it and I was just like, ooh, I don't know. I don't know if crochet is for me, but you know, she's sticking to it. And my niece, who is uh 13 or 14, she is really good at crochet, and so she'll crochet like stuffies and, you know, all sorts of different things. But yeah, so it's really fun watching my daughter kind of push herself too to get better and practice, and that's all I ask of her, is that if she enjoys it, to keep doing it, to keep practicing. So Inky, how's it going? I've been trying floral similar to yours and have been adding petal definition in a darker version of the same color. Yeah, that's a great idea. Medium pink outline on a light pink flower. Yes, that's a great idea. So it doesn't look too dark, but it gives the definition. That's awesome, Inky. I'm glad that you're doing it. I'm glad that you're practicing, and um, yeah, that you're just going along with it. Bard's pens I own are some of my favorites. Yeah, for sure. Fits your hand like a glove. VH Chitty, that's awesome. No PNW. Are you asking me or Bart? Because I think, Bart, are you going to be a PNW? I will not be, but I will be at SF. Yeah, it's cute, right? A cozy holder. It keeps it nice and warm. That's awesome. She also crocheted. She's been crocheting a bunch of different things, but she crocheted just a long scarf because she just kept going. And she's like, I guess it's a scarf now. So you have a problem with tension and making the second line. Yeah. Yeah, my other daughter, she's doing bracelets because she'll just do one line and just keep going. And then their bracelets and necklaces and, you know, that kind of thing. So your 12-year daughter is super obsessed with the woobles and has started adapting other crochet instruction videos to make her own creations. That's so cool. Awesome. Good for her. Yeah. I mean, if you like something, right? It's very cool when kids kind of like keep going with it, and they're so imaginative, right? So like all the different things that they can make and think of, it's very fun to watch that. So all right, this is my warm-up piece. So I think I'm gonna use this to test out my fine liners in terms of the line width, whether I'll like it or not, or, you know. So what I want to do is draw some of these flowers and just kind of practice the lines and adding details. Not that they have to look exactly like that, but let's try. I wonder if this fine line is actually a little too broad for what I want. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to switch to, two. And try that out. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll stick with this. Okay, and then let's do... So this is why I don't like to, or I don't put pressure on myself to capture every single flower in a bouquet, even if you're drawing from reference, because it would just take forever and it's a lot. So that's why if you're drawing from a bouquet, just simplify it into manageable steps and draw enough to get, the gist of the bouquet without getting too bogged down with how many flowers there are and what each of them looks like. And because, otherwise it'll take a long time to do it. Take longer. So and not all of them need all of the detail that, you see. Okay, and this. Okay, not bad. So I'm going to do something similar here. Same kind of flowers. Let's just see it's dry. Yeah. See if I have a 1. I don't here. But I have 005, and I don't know. I feel like I want to add, I want the details to be even less. I want them to stand out less, maybe? I don't know if that makes sense. Let me try. I just think the colors are so pretty. And then we have a little bit of shimmer here too. I just don't want to detract from, I do want to add details though, but I don't know if I wanted to stand out too much. So let's see. Yeah, I think I like this line better. It's so subtle, but it's enough to, I'm going to move this. It's enough to sort of indicate where the lines are. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick to that. Studio Annie. It's an Annie raid. Hello, welcome in. And hello, raiders. It's Haley. How's it going? How's it going, raiders? What were you up to today? Welcome in. Thanks so much for the raid. I'm Corolla. I go by From Corolla on all socials, and I love all things stationery, including fountain pens, fountain pen inks. A lot of my art is abstract floral art. Today, I am painting flowers based on a reference photo. So I did a couple of, or 3 different sort of iterations. And now I'm just adding a little bit of detail and kind of overthinking a little bit. So yeah, if you like using your stationery supplies, if you like painting with paints or inks or anything in between, then you are in the right place. If you have any questions about stationery supplies, feel free to throw it in chat. We have lots of artsy and pen people in the chat as well. Thank you so much for, yeah, thanks so much for the raid and dropping in. Amazing, so fun. Love the watercolor drawing, so why don't you bring my mud community over? Oh, thanks so much, Studio Annie. Awesome. We ain't mud. It's too funny. Amazing. Thanks so much, Studio Annie. And Raiders for coming in. Hopefully your Monday is going well so far, and we'll just keep the art going. We'll just keep the creativity going. You always find that medium fascinating. Yeah, Papa Gal. I noticed that you also commented about crochet. Good for her. I've tried crochet, knitting, and cross stitch. You're not great at them. You've tried multiple times. Have you tried embroidery? Because I feel of all of those, embroidery kept me interested and engaged the longest. And I would go back to trying it again. But you know, it's one of those things I have to make time for, and while I would, I spend more time on this stuff, painting and things. So yeah, no worries. Cool. So I'm just gonna keep adding more details. So I'm working off of this picture I found on Pinterest. And and kind of just using it as a reference in terms of getting shapes and lines of flowers and just kind of practicing that. So I'm using a fine liner in 005. So this is the mono drawing pen from Tombow. And I like the lines that this gives me. So what kind of mediums do you like to use, Raiders? Are you into painting? Are you into paints? Are you into pens at all? All the things, all of the above. That's cool too. As are most of us, I think. And how do you like to practice with your tools? Are you into journaling or art, drawing, sketching, painting, that kind of thing? Do you like planners, using your stationery for planning purposes? So normally I stream Mondays and Wednesdays. And usually Mondays I do drawing. So I'll look at a reference photo and draw flowers. And that's kind of my practice session, sort of to continue practicing drawing from real life or based on real life. And then Wednesdays I like to paint, usually with fountain pen inks, because I have a lot of them. And so I tend to paint more abstract, and I find that practicing drawing from reference or real life helps with the confidence when it comes to drawing from memory. And I call it abstract because I don't really push myself to draw something I remember for real. Just, drawing shapes and drawing petals and leaves and stuff like that. So that's usually what I tend to do. And chat about all kinds of stationery and anything that, we're excited to try and use. So thanks for rating. Thanks for the follows too. Journaling is the name of the game for me right now. Yeah, it's Haley. I hear you there. I hear you. All right. Do you like aesthetic journaling, or are you more focused on the writing aspect of it? I've been doing a lot of like collage journaling with ephemera and like Happy Mail stuff. So when friends send me stuff, or like if I order from a small shop, they tend to throw in like stickers and extras and stuff. And I've been kind of having fun with adding them to a journal and like doing a little bit of writing alongside it. So I'm kind of a mix of both collaging and using things that I have to add context and interest, but also just enjoying the writing experience, especially with fountain pens, is really nice. The other thing I like about using this ultra fine liner point is that because you don't see the lines too obviously, you're not focusing so much on just like how quick they are, and it's just line drawings. So I think that's another plus of using sort of a fine liner. It just breaks things up a little bit so that you don't have blobs of color, but at the same time, it just kind of defines what you're looking at. I don't have a sketchbook, so I mesh art journaling with writing. Yeah, collages are fun. Yeah. Art journaling, yeah. You know, kind of a mix of different things. I'm into everything I can't do. I love that. Rains, our rains. Love trying all new crafts, but mainly clay. Oh, amazing. That's super fun too. Woody ship, I like photography. Photography is really, really fun. I used to be really into it, and then, I just kind of fell off a little bit, especially with just using my phone for things. But the art of photography is a lot of fun. Yeah, I used to do a lot more photography too, Papa Gal. Yeah. I always, when people talk about, their hobbies and things, it always sort of, you know, brings up memories of trying it out or whatever. And I'm kind of like, I should get back into that, right? We should always make time for these things. And yet it's a lot. And sometimes we just run out of time. Oh, you doodle things from your day and journal around it. Yeah, I love that, Papa Gal. I have to do more of that, like doodling about my day. I tend to, you know, I don't know, let the moment pass a little bit sometimes, and it's like it's a great way to reflect on things that happened, and just pick like one or two things to make it stand out. Even if it's like what you ate or something, I love that. Your water and lines are so free. I'm too rigid with watercolors. Yeah, as our marker, which is where I struggle a bit. Yeah, it takes practice for sure, and I think that's why I focus on abstract work, because of like otherwise, yeah, I tend to overthink things sometimes too. um, and doing abstract, or intentionally not wanting to be super detailed, I think helps a lot, because then I take that pressure right off. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to have fun with paints or inks or whatever the medium is. And then I go with it. Whereas, like this one, I'm actually working on a birthday card for my sister. So I wanted it to look like a bouquet, but normally, like this is my watercolor sketchbook. Normally, using paints and inks, I just like to have fun with the colors. And I play around with blending, and different palettes and how they kind of work together and stuff like that. So really there's no, I try not to be too rigid about it, because I know I can get caught up in that as well. But doing the abstract work as a practice, I think gives me the confidence to do a little bit more detailed work sometimes. And I think that's helpful in that way. So for me, not focusing on the details, I think actually tends to help with that. And I don't always have time to do this type of like real, based on real photos and trying to mimic it and copy it a little bit. A lot of times, you know, I have enough time to just kind of have fun with paints and things, and then it's time to put it away, get on with my day. But yeah, I am so happy that I went with 005, let me tell you, because some of these darker lines, they're fine for, I think, just for like, if I was just doing the art. But I think because I really want the colors and this palette to stand out, yeah, I think doing the detailed work with very thin lines, I think is really nice. So I'm just playing some games before I go do other stuff. Yeah, for sure. I do that too. Okay, so that's nice. I like that. Well, that turned out really nice. I also like this. It's a little bit more abstract than this, I think. I don't know which one I like better. I'm trying to, I don't think I like one over the other yet, so let's see. Now this piece was based on this reference photo. So I wanted to play around with different composition, different arrangement, different flowers too. There's a few, you know, that sort of stand out to me here. And the colors are, you know, same kind of paint palettes. So I am using Beam paints. So if you joined with a rate or joined late, the watercolor paints I'm using are Beam paints. They're a Canadian Indigenous people's small shop. And the paints are really, really nice. And I love this palette and this color scheme. So I thought it's very spring vibes, summer vibes, very cheerful. So I'm just kind of playing around with the colors a little bit. And I'm going to draw a little bit of a few different lines as well. So we'll see some of these sort of bolder floral lines here. At least I think so. We'll see. We'll see what comes out, really. So we have some petals here that are kind of stacked on top of each other a little bit. And then this is darker. So maybe I will use the 03 just to add a little bit of darkness here in the center. And then here as well. And the rest can be light. Oh, Moon Sprite, Pale Monday was brutal. Oh no, friend. Yeah, I hope it gets better from here on out, though. I'm glad you're here, regardless. You're getting your calm on from my voice and painting, yes. Painting definitely does that. Right? There's no, I don't know. Can you be aggressive and be painting at the same time? Yes, I guess so. You know, you're taking out your emotions and you're kind of, but I don't know if you can do it and draw flowers. Like just be angry and draw angry flowers. I don't know. I've never tried. I always find that as soon as, like, even if I'm a little upset about something or I'm sad or whatever kind of emotions I'm working through, I always find as soon as I start drawing flowers or a bouquet, it's just like a natural calming. And I can't be, upset and draw flowers at the same time. Especially if you're focusing on getting those petals and stuff. They're just so, like, the lines are just wavy and natural. It's almost like if you're drawing, like a beach landscape or something like that. Like, I don't know. I think it has natural calming vibes. I think these flowers are more, oh, I was going to say more wild flowers, but maybe not. There's more yellow and orange for sure. You have these eucalyptus calming botanicals here too. I like eucalyptus. I know they're kind of filler, but they're kind of nice. I like the shapes. Okay, and then I added a few of these sort of fillers in here too. And then this super cool flower with a red stripe. Is that like a lily or? These are daffodils, right? These yellow ones. I think so. I'm trying to remember my flowers. Tulip. For the one with the red stripe. Okay, yeah. That actually makes sense. Nice little. Yeah. Little things. I don't know. I love this flower that just like sticks out. It's kind of just like, hello, you know. I love the contrast of like everything sort of, it's a nice little composition. And then you have this flower that's just like, hello. Yeah, they're very pretty flowers. Let me just look up yellow stripe. Aha! Moon Sprite for the win! Yellow tulips with red stripes are highly prized in spring gardens for their striking, fiery contrast. So there you go. Striped tulips. See, it's probably something like this. Absalon. Something like that, I think. I'm sure there are variations of it. But yeah, it's very pretty. Very striking. Yeah. Very cool. For sure. As soon as I saw that, I was like, ooh, I like this. It stands out as, a little bit different from the other flowers, for sure. And there's only one, and it stands out regardless, so that is very cool. So I have these two. I actually have to go soon, but I like both of them. But I'm wondering if I should also maybe draw a ribbon or something like that, or a bow, something here that sort of ties them together, because I didn't want to draw a jar, just because you would only see sort of the top of it. But I wonder if I can sort of draw a ribbon and then it ties it together a little bit. Maybe I will. Let's see. Let's see my, I'll use a watercolor pencil, I think. Something like this. Okay. Let's do it. Sometimes, you should just go for it. Okay, so if I kind of do like that. Something similar here, I think. And then soften it. So let's add a little bit of water. do the same here. All right, just leave it there and call it a day. Very cool. Which one do you like? The full bouquet with the purple and turquoise and stuff, or this one that has kind of the bright magenta, yellow, orange, and this this flower that just wants to stand out. I like both. I don't know. I'll have to decide which one I'm going to give to my sister, but we'll see. And this will stay in my sketchbook as a warm-up piece, which, you know, I'm super happy with as well. And I'm glad that I did a little bit of warm-up just to kind of test out the colors and the shapes that I wanted to paint. So I'm going to add the ribbon here as well. So there we go. Very cool. The blues and purples are calling to you. Yeah, I know. I did. I'm glad that I added some of the blue and purple in there as well. In general, I feel like this uses all of the colors and kind of, you know, brings them all out. And then this is a little bit more of a softer, gentler bouquet. But I think both are fun. And yeah, thanks for hanging out and being here and, you know, chatting, lurking, rating, and in general, just, you know, being here, being part of the community, and helping us get into the week. It's always nice when I can start Monday on, you know, a more relaxing note, a little gentler, especially with just, you know, things happening and dealing with emotions and stuff like that. And it's always kind of nice to start the week off in a creative way, and a reminder, you know, to slow down, take some time, take out your stationery supplies and play with them. And even if it's just for practice, you know, you could do just a warm-up sort of whatever you feel comfortable drawing or doodling or sketching. And even, you know, if you just have a little bit of time and just want to take something out and use that time to relax and explore your stationery a little bit more. I always find that time sort of sets me up for, you know, the rest of the week being a little bit just not as intense, not as hard as it could be, I guess. And taking a step back and sort of, you know, slowing down a little bit. So, but yeah, you know, appreciate you, friends. Thanks for being here. I'm not going to be streaming for the next week and a half or so, but if you follow me on Instagram at From Corolla, that's where I update based, or just, you know, I have stories and also my status in terms of when I'll be streaming. So, you know, I'll see you around in other streams. And I'll see you next time. Yeah, the only way you get through Monday is by being here. Same. So yeah, I'll see you soon. Thank you, Papa Gal. And hopefully you have, you know, gentle and calming rest of your week. And remember to go play with stationery. Be kind to yourself. Always be kind to others. And yeah, take care, friends. I appreciate you all. Have a good one.